Jephthah's daughter, a sacred vow revealed, the incredible price in God's transforming plan. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, the land of Gilead trembled with the oppressive presence of the Ammonites. They encroached relentlessly upon the people of Israel, a foreboding wave of division and fear that could extinguish the flame of faith flickering in the hearts of the people. Within this chaos arose Jephthah, the mighty warrior, a son of Gilead, scorned and rejected as the child of a harlot. Cast out by his own family, he found solace amongst the outcasts and the destitute, who saw in him the strength and valor reflected in their own struggles. As dusk fell over Gilead, the rugged landscape mirrored Jephthah's tumultuous spirit. The fervent heartbeat of destiny resonated within his chest, and as he rallied the disenfranchised warriors, their spirits ignited with courage. Jephthah fell upon his knees, the soft earth of his homeland cool against his skin, raising his voice in desperation to the God of Israel. "If you grant me victory over the Ammonites," he implored, "I will offer as a burnt sacrifice whatever emerges first from my house upon my return." The air thickened with tension as the final rays of sunlight faded, marking the eve of battle. The sounds of clashing swords and battle cries would soon fill the valleys as dawn broke over the land. As the battle began, Jephthah led his men with fervor, driven not only by the desire for victory but by the weight of his past. The Lord, in his mercy, granted Israel a resounding victory over their foes, as the dust of the battlefield settled amongst their exultant shouts of jubilation, but as Jephthah returned home, his heart danced between triumph and trepidation. The threshold of his home loomed ahead, a stark reminder of his rejection. Just as he approached, the joyous figure of his daughter burst through the door, tambourine in hand, her sweet laughter filling the air. She had come to celebrate the victory he had won but remained oblivious to the vow made amid despair. "Father! Father!" she sang, unaware of the storm brewing within her father's heart. "Alas, my daughter!" he cried, anguish breaking through the joy of the moment. Tears streamed down his face as the harsh reality of his words struck him. "You are the first to greet me, and I have made a vow to the Lord that I cannot break." An unfathomable silence wrapped around them, each breath heavy with the consequences of duty and love. With unwavering faith, his daughter responded, her voice steady amidst the turmoil, "Honor the vow, my father. But first, allow me 2 months to wander in the mountains with my friends, that I may prepare my heart for what must come." The weight of her response opened an emotional crucible that tested their spirits, affirming their resolve in the face of divine uncertainty. As they wandered the mountains of Gilead, the whispers of the wind echoed their hearts' turmoil, revealing the sanctity and gravity of Jephthah's vow woven through the fabric of their lives. Amid their shared journey, Jephthah grappled with the significance of sacrifice and the call of duty, remembering the God who had blessed their fight. His vow bore the burden of a deeper communion with the one who had transformed his disgrace into valor. Time swiftly passed, each moment steeped in reflection of faith and preparation for the fate that awaited them. To uncover the profound implications of Jephthah's vow and the ultimate cost of obedience, we must tread carefully, for God's purpose often transcends our understanding. Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories. Click the bell icon and select all notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments, which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey? I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now let's continue with what the Lord did next. As the 2 months dwindled, a bittersweet acceptance formed within the hearts of father and daughter, revealing their resolve to honor God above all things. Their footsteps returned to the threshold of home, where the light of impending sacrifice cast shadows upon their faith and hopes. As the sun dipped low in the Gilead sky, casting long shadows over the land, the hearts of Jephthah and his daughter grew heavy with an unspoken weight. They stood together on the threshold, where joy once danced in the air, now replaced by a somber understanding of the vow that bound them. The echoes of their laughter were but whispers in the presence of this divine calling. "Father," she said softly, her voice trembling with conviction, "I wish not for your sorrow. The Lord has graciously allowed me this time, and though the path ahead is fraught with pain, we must trust His purpose. His heart clenched anew, for how could he reconcile the joy of victory with the sorrow of sacrifice? Jephthah, with eyes lifted to heaven, addressed the Almighty in fervent prayer. O Lord of hosts, you have delivered my enemies into my hands, yet in this victory, I find my greatest trial. Grant me wisdom in these dark moments. Thus, they began to reflect on the stories of their ancestors, the trials and triumphs, the faith that had brought the Israelites through the wilderness and into a land flowing with milk and honey. Jephthah recalled Isaac, bound upon the altar, and how Abraham had walked in faith, a faith that pleased you, O Lord. In that moment, he laid his hand upon his daughter's shoulder. Child of my heart, he said, your spirit shines brighter than the morning star. Know that your willing heart brings glory to the Almighty. May He bless the words that flow from your lips to give life to our people in times to come. In the quiet of the mountains, surrounded by their memories, his daughter smiled through her tears. May I return to you as an offering of praise, to honor not just the vow but the God who guides our every step. They continued their journey through the rugged terrain, honoring the fleeting moments, as echoes of love and devotion filled the air. As the final days approached, there came news of Jephthah's renown spreading across the land, tales of his valor lighting the hearts of Israel. The whispers amongst the people told of a mighty deliverer, and with that echoed the unyielding lessons of faith. Jephthah's resolution deepened, leading the hearts of many to recommit themselves to the God who hears and answers, but while the hearts of men held on to hope, unseen in the roots of the soil, the spiritual realm stirred with profound intent. As Jephthah knelt before the altar he was about to erect, he sensed the weight of a greater plan unfurling even as he did not fully comprehend the depths of its magnitude. Forgive me, O Lord, he murmured, for I am but a vessel. Your ways are higher than my ways. An unresolved tension surged within him as he prepared to fulfill the vow as commanded, where love mirrored sacrifice, and in the stillness of that moment, a voice broke through the softest yet most powerful. You have chosen to honor your vow, yet understand, the sacrifice is but a glimpse into a greater story. A promise fulfilled shall echo through the generations, from this act shall a legacy arise, binding hearts to the promise of redemption. As the flames flickered in the twilight, shedding light upon their tears, Jephthah and his daughter grasped the depth of what lay before them, a tapestry woven by divine hands. Little did they know, their obedience was a seed planted within the soil of history, destined to bear fruit in ways unimaginable, but what she did not yet fully realize was how her sacrifice would echo in the halls of faith, a catalyst for generations yet to come, revealing the profound truth that sometimes God's plans, steeped in mystery, lead us through valleys of sorrow to the heights of His glory. As dawn broke over the hills of Gilead, the soft light enveloped Jephthah and his daughter, illuminating the path that stretched ahead, a path intertwined with divine purpose and heavy duty. They made their way toward the appointed place, a quiet clearing set apart for the sacred act that loomed before them. In the stillness of the morning, the air was thick with anticipation, a whisper of heaven mingling with the rustle of leaves. Jephthah's heart beat with a tumult of emotions, for he was caught between gratitude for victory and the agony of his vow. He cast a glance at his daughter, who walked with grace unmarred by fear. My beloved daughter, he said, voice trembling, do you truly understand the weight of what lies before us? With eyes like wells of wisdom, she met his gaze and answered, Father, what is commanded by our God is pure, and I will not falter in my faith. It is not the end that transforms us, but the steps we take to fulfill His will. In that moment, he saw not merely his child, but a testament to unwavering faith, a mirror of the promises spoken to the fathers of Israel. Jephthah gathered his courage, for he realized that their obedience would reverberate through time, shaping a narrative much greater than their own. They reached the altar, the stones cold and rough beneath their hands, yet each represented the history of the covenant that God had established with His people. Jephthah knelt, tears blurring his vision as he lifted his voice to the Almighty, invoking remembrance of His faithfulness since the days of the Exodus. O Lord, I come before you in humility, he cried, remember the covenant you made with us. As I prepare to honor my vow, may this act serve an eternal purpose, one that brings forth your glory among our people. The weight of his words settled like a holy mantle upon all present. Even as the echoes of dawn faded into reverent silence, his daughter approached, the sun casting a halo around her figure. Let us not forget, Father, that the Lord sees the heart. What is being offered here is a reflection of his love and redemption. Even in pain, his purpose prevails. With those words, she stepped forward, her spirit unwavering. It was as though heaven held its breath. A chill swept across the land, and for a brief moment, time seemed to pause, a divine suspension enveloping their sacred act. They felt the stirrings of something beyond human understanding, a presence unseen yet very real. Suddenly, the ground shook gently beneath them, and Jephthah gasped, feeling the very fabric of reality shift. "What is this, my child? What does this mean?" "The Lord is nearing, Father. His plans encompass the vastness of time," she replied, a light kindling in her eyes, for she sensed the promise veiled within their sacrifice. "He speaks not only to us but to generations that will arise. Our act shall sow the seeds of hope." As the moment stretched longer, a bright light flickered in the cloud-dappled sky, an ephemeral sight, beckoning like the dawn of new creation. It whispered of a redemption that would one day echo far beyond their understanding, embracing a world-long yearning for liberation, and as Jephthah's heart stirred with both dread and hope, he found peace in the truth that their sacrifice, though rooted in sorrow, was woven into the grand narrative of redemption that was unfolding even now. "What might come of this, O Lord?" he whispered, fear mingling with wonder. "From this day, a legacy will rise," came the voice, as soft as a mother's lullaby yet as powerful as the thunderous roar of victory. "For every act of faith shall reveal my purposes, every sacrifice shall touch the lives of those yet to know me." In that moment, a profound understanding blossomed within them. The price they bore would not remain hidden. The story he was crafting through them was intricately connected to the hope of Israel, the promise of a future filled with light and salvation. Little did they fathom, this was but the beginning of a divine plan that would ripple through the ages, a revelation poised to transform mountains of despair into valleys of promise. And as they prepared to fulfill their vow, they could not yet see how profoundly God's hand would guide their steps, forever drawing hearts back to his embrace. As Jephthah finished his prayer, the air around them shifted further, charged with an energy that resonated deep within his soul. He opened his eyes, and the light from the morning sun illuminated his daughter's face, revealing both resolve and serenity. She stood with arms raised, as if inviting heaven to bear witness to their sacrifice. "Father, let us proceed together," she urged softly, her voice steady as the ancient stones around them. "The Lord is here, and he prepares to unveil his glory through our devotion." Jephthah swallowed hard, a struggle of obedience crashing against the waves of desperate love for his child. "My heart aches for the depth of my vow," he confessed. "How may I offer you, my beloved, when you are of such value to me?" Yet, in her eyes resided an unyielding fire, a reflection of the God who called them both to this place. "It is not I who am offered, but our trust in his plan," she counseled, the weight of wisdom intertwined with innocence. "Let us remember, Father, that the Lord's ways are higher than our ways," Isaiah 55 verses 8-9. With the oath they had made echoing in their hearts, the two embraced, her cheek pressed against his calloused hand. In that moment, they felt the divine unfolding around them, the very essence of hope woven within the fabric of their sacrifice. As Jephthah took a deep breath, memories surged through him, tales of the God who parted the Red Sea, who rained manna upon the Israelites, and who spoke through his prophets. His heart quickened. Perhaps in their act, they would unfurl a new page in those storied scriptures, a revelation for future generations yearning for deliverance. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the clearing, rustling the leaves into a heavenly chorus. Jephthah stood tall, emboldened by the Spirit, and lifted his hands to the heavens. "Lord of hosts, we submit our will to you. Ours is the pledge, unswerving and faithful. May this day resonate throughout all creation." At once, the ground trembled once more, not with fear this time but with a seismic acknowledgement of their pledge. Thunder rolled in the distance, as if heavens clapped in applause. And from the depths of the earth rose the voice, merging with that rolling thunder but gentle like a spring rain. "Your lives shall weave together a tapestry unseen, rooted in sacrifice and stitched by faith. Know that I shall magnify your obedience beyond what you can fathom." Jephthah's heart leapt with a renewed strength, bolstered by the assurance that there was divine purpose threading through their act. Just then, his daughter, stepping back, shifted into a serene stance of trust. In obedience, she prepared to fulfill the vow, a symbol not solely of loss but also of unbreakable faith. As she advanced towards the altar, Jephthah felt a shudder of resolve course through him. This was a moment echoing through eternity, not the finality of an ending but the blossoming of glory meant to change lives. "O God, prepare us," he whispered, tears spilling as the very gravity of their moment anchored him in divine truth, and there, in the sacred silence, a vision gripped his spirit. He glimpsed a lineage sprouting forth, a nation united by the understanding of sacrifice, and hearts accustomed to trust anchored in his goodness. Yet, what lay ahead was cloaked in divine mystery, waiting to unfurl with each act of faith. "What lies beyond this sacrifice, O Lord?" Jephthah implored inwardly, longing to grasp the full measure of God's sovereignty. "From your faithfulness will arise a testimony," came the answer, echoing through his soul. "An enduring beacon of hope, for in their sorrow, a Savior shall emerge, illuminating the darkest corners of the earth." And as the sun climbed higher, casting its light upon the altar, Jephthah and his daughter embraced eternity's call, not knowing the profound mystery that intertwined their lives and the generations yet to come, a turning point in a grand design where even the deepest pain shall sing of redemption and renewal. As the sun brightened the sky, casting golden rays upon the sacred ground, Jephthah's daughter advanced, her heart unwavering in the face of the unknown. The whisper of the wind seemed to echo her resolve, as if the creation itself celebrated their holy act of obedience. Jephthah's eyes fell upon her, every step she took feeling like a heartbeat reverberating through time, a rhythm of faith that transcended mortal understanding. Suddenly, amidst the solemnity, a new presence emerged in the clearing. From the edge of the forest, a soft light danced through the trees, and a figure approached, bathed in luminance. The atmosphere shifted, heavy with a divine expectancy. Jephthah's heart raced, for he recognized at once that what he found before him was not of this world. "Behold, Jephthah, son of Gilead," the figure spoke, the voice melodic yet powerful, resonating like thunder upon the mountaintop. "Your sacrifice has reached the ears of the Almighty. Know that the intentions of your heart have been laid bare, the Lord has seen your plight and is moved with compassion." Jephthah knelt, for he understood the gravity of this holy visitation. "O Lord, Most High, I am unworthy to stand before you. My heart trembles as I seek to fulfill my vow, yet is there no other way?" The radiant figure stepped closer, illuminating the shadowed path that lay ahead. "Your faith shall not be in vain," came the reply, filled with divine assurance. "Though the weight of your vow is heavy, it heralds an end greater than ye now perceive. Your daughter shall not walk into darkness, but through this act, she shall become a pillar of hope for a generation yet to come." With these words, Jephthah's daughter, standing still and serene, turned her gaze upward, her heart open to the divine promise. "I will be as the servant you desire, O Lord. May my life be a light for those who wander in despair." Just as the stars illuminate the night, the figure affirmed, "You are destined to shine in the hearts of many. Through your obedience, a new covenant shall be established, birthed from the depths of sacrifice and steadfastness." Yet, Jephthah's heart remained torn at the thought of his beloved absorbing such grief. "What if my act, meant for glory, brings only sorrow?" He cried out, his voice laced with anguish. "If only I could bear this burden alone." "Fear not," the figure said, gaze steady and powerful. "For the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Israel is with you. What you see as a loss, he sees as a victory. Every tear shall be transformed into a balm for the nation, a catalyst for healing that reverberates through generations." As the luminescent figure began to fade, an ethereal light shimmered in the air, marking the sacred moment of their covenant. "The path ahead shall be fraught with trials," he declared, "but through every challenge, remember the strength found in unity and faith. A remnant shall rise from this day, one that will transcend time, inspiring all who seek the Lord." With those final words, the divine presence withdrew, leaving Jephthah and his daughter enveloped in a warmth that filled the clearing. Jephthah sighed deeply, the weight of understanding dawning upon him. I perceive now that this sacrifice shall bear fruit beyond what I can see, a lifeline for the wandering and a testament to God's enduring faithfulness. As they stood hand in hand, ready to fulfill their pact, Jephthah's heart echoed with both sorrow and hope. For the revelation lay before them, one that would ripple through history. What shall arise from this moment shall awaken the hearts of many, drawing forth a remnant of faith discern, therefore, the mystery of God's sovereign plan. And in that moment, they recognized that they were not solitary actors in a tragedy, but players in a divine narrative of redemption, one that would flourish from the roots of their sacrifice, binding their hearts and destinies to the covenant of hope yet to be fulfilled. As the first rays of dawn cascaded upon the earth, Jephthah and his daughter looked at one another, their hearts entwined, bound by a holy resolve. The air around them shimmered with earnest promises and muffled fears. Jephthah, struggling to reconcile his obedience with the agony of sacrifice, lifted his eyes to the heavens. "O Lord," he whispered, "you have offered solace in my anguish, yet the ache of this impending choice wounds me deeply." His daughter, understanding the gravity of their moment, reached out and placed her hand upon her father's, a stillness settling in the air. "Father, if the Lord has called me, let it not be in vain. I shall surrender gladly, for I carry the spirit of our people within me." There was fierce determination in her voice, echoing the unwavering faith of the matriarchs before her. Just then, a rustle in the underbrush caught their attention. The gentle chime of approaching footsteps broke the silence, and from the foliage emerged a small band of young women, carrying instruments and flowers. Their laughter filled the clearing, a mixture of joy and sorrow intertwined. "We come to celebrate," one of them declared, her voice like a melodious harbinger of existence. Jephthah's daughter, sensing the sweet sadness that laced their gathering, offered a smile. "Dear friends, my heart beats for your joy, yet I am bound to a covenant that burdens my soul." The young women fell silent as the weight of her words seeped into their hearts. Understanding dawning in the light of her faith, they began to mourn for her, their voices rising in a symphony of lament, weaving a tapestry of grief that enveloped the clearing. It was a poignant reminder of the lives intertwined in the fabric of faith. Jephthah, witnessing the unity amidst the sorrow, felt a glimpse of the divine economy at work within their grieving hearts. Even in sorrow, he thought, there is a promise of new beginnings. Then the daughter of Jephthah lifted her voice, the sound like a silver bell resonating through the sorrowful air. "Let us not dwell solely in grief," she called out, her spirit alight with unshakable hope. "In our mourning, let us reaffirm our covenant with the Lord. For through our shared sacrifice, His plans shall unfold." Her words ignited a flicker of joy among the women, and soon they joined her song, lifting praises to the Almighty. The forest echoed with the sound, merging human despair with divine promises, an offering of faith not limited to mortal eyes. As the collective worship rose, the heavens appeared to shift, an underlying presence stirring amongst the trees. The hair on Jephthah's arms stood on end, for he felt a rushing wind envelop them, the breath of God brushing gently upon their sorrowful hearts. "O Lord, may this moment be sealed in the annals of remembrance," Jephthah murmured, his voice steady despite the tempest of emotion washing over him. Suddenly, the shimmering light from the divine presence once more flickered upon their gathering. "I have heard your cries," the embodiment of faith resounded, wrapping them in celestial warmth. "Your willingness to stand firm, even in the face of trial, is a testament that shall resonate through all generations." Jephthah's daughter felt emboldened. "What lies ahead, O Lord? What purpose shall my life fulfill?" "In your sacrifice," the voice replied, "the seeds of restoration shall be sown for those who seek my face. Generations shall look upon your story and glean hope from your faithfulness." With that declaration, a profound understanding settled in Jephthah's heart. The weight of their choice was not merely one of loss, but instead a divine calling to pave a way for many. As the women rejoiced and danced around them, he grasped his daughter's hands tightly, an anchor against the storm within. Together they stood, witnessing the intricate weave of divine destiny unfolding through their faith, yet, as the dance continued, a shadow stirred in the corner of their hearts. What awaited them on this path? A deeper struggle lay ahead, and they could sense the grip of trials soon to erupt. 4. What shall arise from this moment shall awaken the hearts of many, bringing forth the revelation of God's sovereign plan, the true price of obedience yet to be unveiled. His thoughts echoed with urgency. Thus, the dawn of understanding began to break anew, brightening the horizon of their faith journey and ushering in a chapter still unwritten, a divine mystery waiting for them just beyond the veil of obedience. As the sun climbed higher, bathing the clearing in golden rays, the young women ceased their dance, their hearts still heavy with the bittersweet reality that loomed over Jephthah's daughter. With tender resolve, she turned to them, her spirit fortified by the weight of their shared lament. "Let this day be marked," she declared, "not by sorrow, but by the faith our God has placed within us." The air vibrated with her unwavering trust, and the young women, addressing their grief, responded with fervent cries of unity. "Yes. Let us raise our voices, for we are chosen vessels of His grace." They encircled her once more, their songs intertwining with threads of hope, weaving a tapestry in which each note echoed the divine promise meant for generations. Yet amidst the celebration, Jephthah felt a stirring in his spirit, a disquiet that seemed to crescendo with the rising melodies. He recalled the words of the Lord spoken to him in his hour of desperation, words that vibrated through his very being: "You shall be victorious in battle, but at a great cost." What did this cost truly entail? As the songs faded into whispers, Jephthah addressed the gathered women: "Listen to me, O daughters of Israel. The Lord has given us a task. Our faith shall lead us, but we must also act. The enemy draws near, and we must prepare our hearts and minds, for trials will test us." His daughter stepped forward, her heart still aflame. "We shall not face these trials alone, for our God is with us. Let us pray for the strength to endure and the wisdom to navigate what lies ahead." She knelt upon the earth, her hands raised in supplication, her fervent spirit igniting the hearts of those around her. As they echoed her plea, darkness stirred not far away, unseen but sensed an enemy preparing his attack, emboldened by the murmurs of confusion and fear. The specter of doubt threatened to snuff out the light of their unyielding faith, but as if responding to their prayers, a sudden clarity washed over Jephthah. "This is not merely my oath, nor is it solely my daughter's sacrifice. It is a call for all of Israel to unite, to stand firm against those who come to devour our hope. We must awaken the spirit within us, for this sacrifice is not for death, but for life." The weight of his proclamation hung in the air, and a hush fell over the women. They looked at one another, understanding dawning anew. They were part of God's greater plan, intricately connected to His purpose. Each of their lives were threads in the fabric of His design. As Jephthah prepared to gather a tumult of faith around him, he realized the enemy's presence was not merely military, it was spiritual as well. It sought to undermine their unity, to tear apart the sacred bond they shared as daughters of the Most High. "Let us wield our true weapons. For the battle is not ours, it is the Lord's," he declared, raising his arms high. Suddenly, as if answering the rally of hearts, the skies above began to shift, dark clouds rolling in like an impending storm. But within those clouds, lightning flickered, revealing a glimmer of divine presence. The air grew charged with anticipation. "Fear not," came a voice, clear and resonant as it pierced through the gathering storm, "for through this trial, I shall reveal my glory. My sovereign hand shall guide you through the valley of despair, transforming your sacrifice into a beacon of hope for those who walk in darkness." Jephthah and his daughter exchanged glances of resolute faith, knowing that what awaited them was not mere hardship, but divine promise enveloped in purpose. The time had come for their obedience to kindle a flame that would consume the darkness. Thus, with hearts united and spirits uplifted, they prepared to face the unfolding challenges. For they understood what lay ahead would not only test them but reveal the depths of God's sovereign plan, unseen by mortal eyes yet woven into the very fabric of their faith journey. What was the nature of this divine revelation yet to come? The answer to their collective sacrifice hovered, tantalizing in the unseen shadows of God's grand narrative. As the darkness thickened, Jephthah and his daughter stood at the precipice of faith, their hearts beating as one with the rhythm of the gathering storm. The women encircled them, joined not merely in sorrow, but bound in a covenant of resilience. From the depths of their spirits arose a collective strength, echoing the promise of their covenant God. "This is our hour. Jephthah's daughter proclaimed, her voice rising like a clarion call, summoning the remnants of courage that inhabited each soul. Let it be known, Jephthah implored, that we shall not cower before the shadows of fear. The Lord has established his covenant with our forefathers, and he shall not forsake us now. His words resounded through the veil, reaching deep into the hearts of all Israel, calling forth a line of warriors to rise. Unseen yet tangible, a stirring of spirits began to manifest, an emboldened hope burgeoned amongst them as they recognized their shared legacy of divine protection. Then, as the tempest rumbled above, a figure emerged within the turmoil, the camp of Ammon, looming large and fierce, like a dark wave intent on crashing against the shores of their sanctity. Jephthah could feel the weight of their intent, and yet, the words of God thrummed through him with unabashed force, reminding him of his unyielding presence. You shall be victorious in battle, but at a great cost. What heavy price must they pay to realize the fullness of his promise? Gather the men. Jephthah commanded. We must meet this foe head-on. The price may be steep, yet what more valuable than the promise of our God, who leads us as our shepherd? With unspoken dread shadowing their hearts, the men of Israel obeyed, stepping forth as if drawn from a wellspring of faith deeper than their fear. As they assembled, Jephthah turned to his daughter, whose unwavering countenance seemed to radiate the courage of the faithful. Even so, my beloved, let us anoint this moment with prayer. They knelt side by side upon the earth, the grass beneath them a humble altar. O Lord, hear our petition. Grant us courage in the face of the tempest to come. The earth trembled in response, and they rose as the air crackled with anticipation. The women encircled them again, their voices rising in an incantation of faith, weaving a hedge of intercession that seemed to draw the very presence of heaven down unto their midst. Then from within the blackened clouds, a flash of lightning illuminated the silhouette of a great warrior, standing firm. The Lord has dispatched his angels, Jephthah declared, observing the majesty before him. We walk in full confidence that we battle not against flesh and blood, but against the powers and principalities that seek to lay waste to our faith. Just then, a hush swept over the land, a celestial stillness that echoed louder than the fury of the approaching storm. It was here that their eyes were opened, revealing the contours of a divine plan, a plan that had woven through the ages, reaching across generations to bind their hearts to his eternal purpose. With resolve fulminating within them, Jephthah raised his sword high. This day, we declare ourselves as the Lord's warriors, his chosen instruments for the salvation of our people. Forward to battle, for he shall act upon our sacrifice. As they moved in unison, the air thickened with the weight of decisive hope, and amidst their rally of faith, they could not perceive the great tapestry God was weaving. For what they did not yet realize was this battle would not just be for their deliverance but for the redemption of their enemies as well. The final act of sacrifice loomed larger, and the true nature of God's sovereign plan was yet to unfurl. Little did they know, the cost of obedience would usher in a revelation of grace unlike any they had ever known. What might arise from the ashes of strife and surrender, hidden in the very fibers of their covenant? The answer lingered like a breath upon the wind, beckoning them forward. The clash of swords echoed in the valley as Jephthah and his warriors surged forward, emboldened by the call of their leader and the assurance of divine intervention. The camp of Ammon awaited, shrouded in darkness yet crackling with the ferocity of 1,000 battles. Jephthah felt a weight upon his shoulders, heavier than any armor. It was the burden of sacrifice, thickening the air with anticipation and dread. March on! He commanded, his voice a beacon. They charged forward, hearts echoing with the promises of old. Jephthah's daughter stood strong at the rear, knowing the fate woven into the fabric of their fight. Little did they grasp that the Lord's hand was not solely for victory but for something profoundly redemptive to unfold. As the two armies clashed, shouts of despair and triumph mingled in the air like smoke. Jephthah struck fiercely, his spirit fueled by the prayers of the faithful as he fought, feeling the Lord's presence like an undying flame illuminating the shadows. Each swing of his sword brought memories of the ancestral stories, the parting of the Red Sea, the burning bush, the faith of Abraham. In that divine lineage, he found courage, the battle raged, and amidst the chaos, Jephthah's daughter clung to an undeniable truth: the tapestry of God's purpose wove through her very being. "O Lord," she whispered, "you alone can turn this moment for your glory. Let my life bear witness to the weight of sacrifice." Though surrounded by the horrors of war, a peace enveloped her spirit, infusing her with unwavering resolve. As hours passed, the tide of battle began to shift, favoring Jephthah and his men, yet with each fallen enemy, his heart grew heavier. For he remembered the vow he had made before the Lord, and the reality of its potential weighed against their triumph. The ancient words spoke to his soul, reverberating in the silence amidst the tumult: "You shall offer to the Lord whatever comes out from your house to meet you." Judges 11 verse 31. A sudden shift in the wind twisted the atmosphere, foreboding. Jephthah looked to the hilltop, where his daughter stood, a figure of purity yet now shadowed by the grim toll of the battle. "No!" he cried, recognition dawning, for his heart trembled at the price required of his faithfulness. In that fleeting moment, the battleground faded, and all that remained was his child irrevocably entangled in the solemn vow, yet wrapped in a mantle of grace. "O Lord, what have I done?" His heart ached, echoing the lament of Abraham upon the altar of Moriah. Would the God of the promise demand such a sacrifice from the depths of his love? "Father!" she called, her voice clear like a rushing stream. "Do not mourn for that which is destined for the Lord. I am his servant." Tears streamed down his face, glistening like the blood of those who fell. Her fearless obedience emanated from a heart anchored in covenant, and through her, emerged a glimmer of revelation. "Your offering shall not be in vain, for the Lord will bring forth a new covenant through the ashes of this moment," she declared, fiercely defiant against the darkness. As turmoil continued around them, Jephthah found himself compelled anew. The realization that their plight was not singular but entwined with divine purpose enveloped him in awe. He understood now, the path of sacrifice bore the seeds for redemption, sown deep in the heart of obedience. And the culmination of battle cries and churned earth. Jephthah lifted his eyes. His heart ached yet swelled with an understanding of God's sovereign design. They were not merely fighting for survival, nay, they were part of a divine narrative that extended beyond their understanding, echoing through the ages. And in that sacred moment, as the remnants of conflict settled, he steeled his resolve, embracing the unfolding mystery of God's plan. How profound that through their obedience, God would reshape the very fabric of their history. Yet the question lingered like the gentle whisper of the wind: what greater redemption awaited, woven through the threads of their struggle? The tumult of sacrifice foretold a promise yet unseen, drawing them ever closer into the heart of God's eternal purpose. As the dust from the battlefield began to settle, silence descends upon the land of Gilead, heavy yet palpable. Jephthah, weary from exhaustion yet filled with divine resolve, stands with a heavy heart as the echoes of war fade into memory. The day's conflict birthed triumph for Israel, yet it bore the weight of his sacrificial vow, looming before him like a mountain of despair. His beloved daughter stands nearby, a beacon of unwavering faith, her spirit radiant even amidst the shadows. "Fear not, my father," she calls out, her voice steady amidst turmoil. "What we partake today is a testament of our allegiance to the Almighty. Our sacrifice shall not be in vain." Jephthah's heart swells, pierced with pride and sorrow as he glimpses the profound depths of their united purpose. In that moment, the air around them thickens with divine presence, a holy silence enveloping the clearing as if the heavens themselves are beckoning. Jephthah kneels upon the earth, rough beneath him but sacred in its essence. "O Lord, hear my prayer," he cries, the weight of his vow pressing upon his soul. "I stand before you, trembling, yet resolute. Let my daughter's courage echo through generations, and may our sacrifice seal the strength of your promise." The heavens shift above as a warm breeze brushes against his cheek, whispering with gentle assurance. In that sacred breath, the Lord's voice cascades through his mind, each syllable buoying his heart: "Your faith, Jephthah, has not gone unnoticed. Though the path ahead bears the marks of sorrow, know this: through obedience and sacrifice, I shall weave a tapestry of salvation, for what you offer shall magnify my glory." Jephthah's daughter, emboldened by this sacred assurance, steps closer to her father. Together, we fulfill this vow, not as an ending, but a beginning. This act shall bear witness to the God who hears our cries, she affirms, her dedication swelling like the rising dawn that breaks across the horizon. The mighty warrior lifts his gaze to the sky, where golden rays pierce through the clouds. You are right, child. Let us embrace the mystery of God's sovereign plan that transcends our understanding, Jephthah replies, a fierce resolve igniting in his spirit. Let the world behold how faithfulness to our covenant generates light in the darkest of hours. As they prepare to enact the dreadful vow, a gathering ensues. The people of Israel return from the battlefield, witnessing the profound unity of father and daughter, a living testament of faith in action. The air thrums with sacred anticipation, understanding dawning upon the hearts of the onlookers that in a clearing adorned by fragrant wildflowers nature's offering. Jephthah raises his hands to the heavens afresh. Hear, O Israel! The Lord has fought for us, and we, in turn, must offer ourselves to him with glad hearts. The crowd responds with a mighty roar, faith igniting among them as they join in prayer and worship, committing their lives anew to the God who delivers. Jephthah looks to his daughter, finding her heart brimming with light, an unyielding testament to love that even sacrifice cannot dim. And, in that sacred embrace of faith, she takes her place at the altar, defying the shadows with luminous grace. May my life serve as a vessel of hope for those who wander in despair, she speaks boldly. In my obedience, let a remnant arise from the ashes of this vow, bringing forth healing and restoration for our people. As Jephthah prepares to fulfill his vow, the air crackles with anticipation once more, a chorus of angels joining in their sacred moment. What we provide is but a flicker in the grand narrative of redemption, he asserts, tears glistening like morning dew, but it is through this obedience that hearts will align with the promise that lies ahead. Just then, a light from above envelopes them both, illuminating not just the clearing but the very fabric of their sacrifice, a radiant promise stretching beyond time and space. Fear not the depth of this commitment, for my grace is enough, a voice whispers lovingly. Through the end, I shall establish a new beginning. Through your obedience, the offerings of sorrow shall yield the joy of salvation, and a fresh chapter of hope shall blossom forth. With that, Jephthah emerges, heart steadied by divine assurance, as they enact a holy vow that would echo through eternity. In their sacrifice, the weight of collective legacy endures, breathing life into the promise of a new dawn, one of redemption and grace that would reshape the plight of the people and remind them of God's relentless love. It is finished, Jephthah utters, both heavy with grief and lightened by joy. His daughter's spirit rises as the flames of the altar flicker and dance in a celestial harmony, its smoke ascending as a fragrant offering, declaring the faithfulness of God to all who would follow. Now, dear friend, as we witness the transformative power of sacrifice and the weaving of God's intricate tapestry, you need to subscribe now to stay connected to God's Word. Leave a like now to help spread this message of hope through the work of the algorithm. Join the conversation. Comment below with your spiritual reflections and let us know how this biblical story impacted your faith. And for those who need to hear of God's truth, share instantly this powerful testimony with at least 5 friends. Don't wait even one more second. Your response today can touch lives and usher in the light of truth. Together, let us be vessels of His glory,